I just asked God right before worship, like, what do you want me to paint today? And I just got a picture of God holding someone's heart, and notice that it's not pointing outward for everyone to see, like it's pointing toward him. And so I just really feel like he wants to tell someone today that he has their heart in his hands, and it's very, the relationship between you and God is just very personal, and he knows you, and he loves you, and he cares about your heart, and maybe you're going through a hard time right now, but he sees you where you are. And I really believe that this painting is for the lady in the white right here. I'm not sure what her name is. Yeah, yeah. So I really feel like God is saying that he just loves you wherever you are right now, and that he takes your heart, and it's very personal, and he loves you, and he sees everything that you're going through, but still in the midst of it, he has time just to hold your heart and just to look at it and just to love on you. And so I just bless you with that, and yes.
That's so good. Does that mean something to you? Yeah? Thank you, Justina. Thanks for sharing that. Speaking of art, we announced it, I believe, last week. It feels like a month ago now, because it was a very full week for me. But we announced that there was a transition over the art, and we welcomed in our new art leader, who's walking in the back here. But Linda wasn't here, who was leading it before, because she had to work. She's over here. We just wanted to recognize Linda. Would you guys thank God for Linda? She really helped lead this art for some time. And she does, as thank yous, she does receive prophetic words and money. So you guys can just encourage her. We're so thankful for what Linda has done. It's really meant a lot, and really central to who we are as a church. So Linda, you're amazing. Thank you so much for what you've done. And yeah, well, you might have noticed that you were handed some chocolates on the way in. Hopefully you got some if you wanted some. Happy Valentine's Day. And we're going to look at that here in just a minute. But you're also handed these beautiful things right here. These are our next step bulletins. And if you open that area up here, I want to welcome our first-time guests with us, because what we have for you is a personalized art piece on your way out today. And so make sure that you pick that up on your way out. It's a personalized art piece for you. And everyone has these connection cards inside. If we could take those out, I'm going to go through a couple of announcements. But while I'm doing that, I want to ask everybody, 100% of people, pull these out. And does anybody need one of these? Raise your hand. You didn't get one. Okay, raise your hand high. We'll make sure that you're able to get those. Thanks. And if you would just take a moment and start filling these in, and then towards the end of the service, we'll have a place for you to drop those in. You'll notice we have a place for you to check off first or second time guest, and we like to send out gifts to our guests. And so if you want to write legibly for that, that'd be great. Flip it over to the back. Then you can write a prayer request, or you can write something that you're thanking God for. And so you can be working on that while I'm going through these announcements here. These next step bulletin itself on the very back is a place you can take some notes on if you want to. And if you decide to not write on it, there'll be a place where you can drop them off, and we'll use them again next week. But please feel free to write on them if you would like to. And also has encouragement for you to think about where you're at in your journey with Jesus and what's your next step. Don't settle for staying where you're at. Don't be stagnant. What's your next step in that? And so look through that and let your life be encouraged. And then at the end of the service, you guys can drop that stuff off of there. Really thankful that all you guys were here. And we have some things that we like to do that are a little bit different. Last week we did a Q&A service. And from the feedback we got, and also just from talking amongst ourselves as staff as well, we decided that we're going to do it again sometime. And so things that we learned is we're going to have a timer on us. And so our answers aren't as long, and we'll be able to cover some more things. When we come to that time, You can, if your question wasn't answered, resubmit it. I'll be looking for ones that are resubmitted to kind of look at those first. And so we'll give you a heads up when that's going to be happening. And just give a chance to invite people and talk to some of your friends who maybe have questions about God or questions about church or something of that nature. You can talk to them about. We have this Q&A time. You can submit a question anonymously, and somebody will give their best shot at it. And you can decide what you think about their answer if you want to. So it's a great opportunity to interact with people, because here's the thing is there was a survey I saw done with people that don't go to church, and they said the one I watched, they said the number one reason they didn't go to church was because the church didn't answer their questions. That they had real questions and the church didn't answer them. So I said, well, let's have a Q&A time. Let's answer questions. All right, so you might be surprised at people that you have relationship with that have questions. And so that's kind of why we want to do that, and we want to make sure that people have a chance to have interaction on those kind of things. All right, and this was a busy week for my wife and I. And so we were both a part of two different youth conferences. She was in York, and I was in Harrisburg. And then we had a conference that was in this building here, and I spoke a couple times in that. How many people here were in the conference that was here? Let me see your hands. Okay. It's always interesting on Sundays. You have a group that was in a conference and a group that wasn't. But I wanted to give just a report of us being involved in some things, and one specific report in a session I was able to minister in here. I felt like God wanted me to give a salvation call for people who want to give their life to Christ. And I really wrestled with it, and I talked with one of the other speakers, Dr. Kim Moss, and I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to do this. And she was like, you know what? I felt like the same thing, and I totally forgot to do it. And so I confirmed that that's supposed to be done. And so I ended up doing that. And this is a conference where Christians go to. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll do it. Maybe one person here is, backslidden. They haven't followed God for a long time. Well, I gave an altar call, and 14 people responded to give their life to Christ. And some of those were first-timers. They had never given their life to Christ before. And one of those people I talked to later, actually, I talked to two people, but one of the people I talked to said later on we did a thing called a fire tunnel, and that was just where people walked between some people and received prayer while they walked by. And that person that walked through the tunnel felt something come off and out of them when they walked through. They had just given their life to Christ and experienced some deliverance, if you're familiar with that. And so it was fun being able to participate in that event. And if you want to find out more about that or see something that your pastors are involved with, you can look up a stirring if you want to and check those out. It was really great to be a part of that. Valentine's Day, to just have some fun with that. You guys got some chocolates on your way in. And then our services are designed in a way where we have different events that kind of happen after the service. And so 2 times a month we have extended worship after, and then 2 times a month we have what we call our after-service hangout, and that's where we have snacks. And so I have reserved some Valentine's Day snacks up here. They are some cupcakes with hearts on it. So that automatically makes it Valentine's Day because it has hearts on it. And so those will be available. Today is an after-service hangout time, and so we'll take that to the back if you want to do that. But I also wanted to give a real special thank you to our staff. We have some amazing people that work here, and so grateful for them. We had this great Q&A time, and I want you to know that the staff here really encourage me, and they mean a lot to what's going on in Convergence Center. So kind of as a thank you for that, I have roses. These are roses for them, and so one of them goes to my wife. Thank you. She is she's a co-lead pastor here. We pastor these together. Another one of these goes over to Ellen, there she is. Ellen, this goes over to you. And then, if you wouldn't mind taking this back, this goes to Kristen. So we're thankful I don't have Alex come up. I know he would love to come up and grab a flower, but we'll send it back to him instead. And We have one more announcement. There is a Convergence worship team is doing a set at the Burn on Saturday from 11 to 1 at the Exchange. You can see Pastor Micah for details. What's that? We'll put details in the bulletin as well, so you guys can check that out if you want. But would you guys just take a moment and thank the staff here for what they've been doing? So thankful. Ward, you guys shake each other's hands. You guys done so good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. It's catching on. More people are excited now. Thank you. Thank you for what you guys are doing here. And how many people here, I know we have some first-timers here, but how many your lives have been touched through Convergence Center somehow? See your hands. Yeah. These staff have got a huge part of that happening. They're amazing people. And so make sure you thank them. Give them some chocolate. And they'll like that a lot. And so what I wanted to say just real briefly about the conference that happened here, it was called The Stirring, is that with God, there are no leftovers. And so there was a lot of activity. I know some people are sending me messages they're too tired to come to church today. Had some late nights, but kudos to you that did. And I was just thinking about when Jesus multiplied food, if you're familiar with that story, that there were 12 baskets left over. I don't know if I would qualify that as leftovers. If you have a handful of food, you give it out to thousands of people, and then you have 12 baskets after people are stuffed, I don't know if that's leftovers. With God, I just don't think that there are leftovers. And so my point of saying that is there was a lot of fantastic things that happened here in the very room that you're in today. I was privileged to be a part of that. And this Sunday morning, we're not getting the leftovers. God doesn't give leftovers. He's got a fresh bread for you. He's got a fresh encounter. He's got some fresh things on his heart for you this morning. And I'm excited about what we're going to get into here today. Are you guys ready? Yeah, it's going to be good. So if you will take your Bibles and go over to 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 5.